Hello there, and a very quiet welcome to the Sleepy Scientist channel. As you settle in, let the sounds of the day fade away and allow your mind to drift to a place of immense blue silence. A world of weightless grace and slow, powerful currents. Tonight we begin a gentle journey into the realm of the whales. These are the gentle giants of the deep, the great singers of the ocean, whose lives unfold in a scale of time and space that can feel almost dreamlike. For now, there is nothing you need to do but breathe deeply and listen as we dip below the surface together. Imagine, if you will, the vast and open ocean. Sunlight filters down through the water, creating shifting pillars of light, but below, the world opens into a deep, endless blue. It is here, in this serene expanse, that the whales roam. They are not fish, but mammals just like us. They breathe air, they feed their young with milk, and they cherish the company of their families. This shared heritage is our first connection to them, a thread of biology that ties our warm-blooded lives to theirs in the cold, deep sea. They are creatures of two worlds, holding their breath to live in the water, yet forever rising to the interface of air and ocean to take a life-giving breath. The sheer size of a whale is difficult to grasp until you see one, but even then the mind struggles to comprehend. To be near a great whale is to be in the presence of a living mountain, a being whose slow, deliberate movements create a wake that resonates with a profound, ancient energy. Yet, for all their immense power, they are almost never in a hurry. Their lives are lived in slow motion, a graceful ballet of movement and stillness. A whale may glide for an hour without a single flap of its tail, riding the deep sea currents as we might drift in a pleasant dream. This slow, purposeful existence is the first lesson they offer us tonight, that peace is often found not in speed, but in rhythm, not in action, but in calm, unhurried presence. Their bodies are masterpieces of evolutionary adaptation, perfectly sculpted for a life of aquatic flight. Over millions of years, their front limbs transformed into powerful flippers for steering. Their hind limbs receded into the streamline of their form, and their tails grew into broad, horizontal flukes, powerful engines that propel them with a slow, deep undulation. This up and down movement of their tail is different from the side-to-side swish of a fish, a reminder of their terrestrial past when their ancestors walked on land. To watch a whale swim is to see a creature completely at one with its element, a testament to the patient, shaping hand of time. And when they breathe, it is a ritual of profound tranquility. After a long dive, a whale will rise silently to the surface. There is a moment of perfect stillness, and then a soft, powerful sigh, the exhalation of its breath. This breath, seen from a distance, creates a cloud of mist that hangs in the air for a moment, catching the light before it vanishes. It is not merely a biological function. It is a signal, a marker of a life being lived. For the whale, it is a moment of renewal. For us, it is a symbol of a quiet, steady rhythm. The rhythm of dive and rise, of effort and rest, a cycle as old as the oceans themselves. Perhaps the most soothing quality of these giants is their profound silence. We often think of the ocean as a noisy place, and it can be, but the world of the whale is one of deep, resonant quiet, broken not by harsh sounds, but by low-frequency pulses and melodies that travel for hundreds of miles. They are communicators in the dark, their voices weaving a tapestry of sound across the watery globe. In their world, a whisper can be heard from a continent away. This reliance on sound over sight creates a reality that is felt more than it is seen, a world of vibration and resonance that is deeply, inherently peaceful. As we prepare to delve deeper into the specific wonders of their lives in the chapters to come, let this first introduction simply wash over you. Let the image of a great, dark shape moving effortlessly through the blue twilight calm your thoughts. These are not monsters of the deep, but gentle nomads, the great wise ones of the sea. Their existence is a quiet testament to the fact that the largest beings on our planet live lives of remarkable peace, communicating in songs, moving in pods, and navigating by a sense we can scarcely imagine. So, as you lie there, breathing in and out, remember that somewhere right now a whale is doing the same. Rising in the starlight or the midday sun, taking a deep, slow breath before diving back down into the silent world below. Let your own breathing sync with this imagined rhythm. A slow, deep inhale and a soft, releasing exhale. There is no rush. The ocean is vast and the story is long. Rest now with the image of these gentle giants cradled in the deep blue. We will continue our journey soon. As we continue our gentle journey into the world of whales, let us drift closer to one of the most magnificent expressions of life ever to grace our planet, the blue whale. To understand this being is to explore a world of biological superlatives, where every organ and every function operates on a scale that stretches the imagination. It is here, in the quiet, steady workings of its immense body, that we find a new kind of wonder, a symphony of slow, powerful rhythms that sustain the largest animal our world has ever known. Imagine an engine, not of metal and wire, but of muscle and life beating in the deep. The heart of a blue whale is so vast that a small child could theoretically walk through its main arteries. Weighing nearly 400 pounds, about the size of a small car, this incredible organ beats with a profound, deliberate slowness. When the whale is deep in a dive, its heart may thump only 2 to 8 times per minute. Each beat is a powerful, low-frequency wave of pressure that radiates through the water, a bass note in the ocean's symphony, pushing gallons of dark, rich blood through a circulatory system of almost unimaginable scale. To be near that heartbeat would be to feel the very pulse of the ocean itself, a deep, resonant rhythm that speaks not of haste, but of immense, steady power. Perfectly calibrated for a life of depth and grandeur, this colossal heart serves a body that defies belief. A blue whale can grow to over 100 feet long, its tongue alone weighing as much as an elephant. Its mouth contains a series of baleen plates, fringed keratinous sheets that hang from the upper jaw, acting as a sophisticated filtering system. When the whale feeds, it takes a gigantic gulp of water, expanding the pleated grooves on its throat like a living accordion. Its tongue, a massive piston of muscle, then pushes the water out through the baleen, trapping thousands of tiny krill inside. A single full gulp can hold over 5,000 pounds of water and krill, a volume greater than that of a large swimming pool. This is how the largest creature on Earth sustains itself, not by hunting great beasts, but by consuming some of the ocean's smallest, drifting peacefully through clouds of shimmering life. The energy required to power such a vast organism is managed with exquisite efficiency. A blue whale's dive is a masterpiece of physiological conservation. Before descending into the dark, cold depths where its prey resides, the whale will take a series of deep, powerful breaths at the surface, supersaturating its blood and muscles with oxygen. Its blood cells are uniquely efficient at storing and releasing this vital gas. As it dives, its heartbeat slows and blood is redirected primarily to the essential organs, the brain and the heart, while non-essential functions slow to a crawl. It is a state of deep, meditative rest, even as the whale journeys hundreds of feet down. This ability to consciously manage its own metabolism is a form of biological mastery, a quiet hibernation that happens dozens of times each day. And what of its voice? The blue whale does not sing the complex songs of the humpback, but its calls are perhaps even more profound. It emits low-frequency moans and pulses that can travel for hundreds, even thousands of miles through the ocean's deep sound channels. These sounds are among the loudest and lowest frequency made by any animal, often below the range of human hearing. They are vibrations felt more than heard, deep rumbles that carry messages across the vast, dark basins of the world. To another blue whale, this is a whisper across the abyss. To us, it is a reminder of the immense, silent conversations happening in the deep, a language of infrasound that connects these solitary giants across entire oceans. Contemplating the biology of the blue whale invites a deep sense of peace. Its existence is not one of frantic struggle, but of slow, rhythmic cycles, the powerful, unhurried beat of its heart, the deep, replenishing breath at the surface, the slow, graceful lunge through a galaxy of krill. Every aspect of its being is tuned for efficiency, scale, and grace. In a world that often feels rushed and loud, the blue whale moves to a different tempo, a rhythm written in the slow, patient heart of the ocean itself. So, as you rest, let your own heartbeat slow. Imagine each pulse as a gentle, powerful wave, supporting you, sustaining you, just as the great heart of the whale supports its journey through the blue. There is no need for hurry. In the grand, quiet scheme of life, sometimes the most powerful force is a slow and steady rhythm. As we drift deeper into the world of whales, we leave behind the immense, silent presence of the blue whale and enter a realm of sound, a world where the ocean itself becomes a concert hall for one of nature's most complex and beautiful creations. The song of the humpback whale. In the sun-dappled shallows and the dark, deep channels, these whales compose and perform melodies that are not merely sounds, but intricate, evolving works of art that can traverse entire ocean basins. Imagine, if you will, floating in the warm tropical waters where humpback whales gather. The sunlight penetrates the blue-green water in shimmering columns. At first, all you hear is the quiet pulse of the sea, the gentle crackle of distant shrimp, the soft movement of water. Then it begins. A low, resonant moan seems to come from everywhere at once, vibrating through your very bones. It is a sound so deep and rich, it feels less like hearing and more like being immersed in a feeling. This is the foundation of the humpback's song, a series of groans, cries, whistles, and chirps woven together into a pattern that can last for 20 minutes or more, and then be repeated for hours on end. What is truly astonishing is that these are not random noises. Each population of humpback whales sings a distinct and shared song, a cultural tradition passed through the water. The song is composed of phrases which form themes, which are then arranged in a specific order. A whale will sing the same precise sequence of sounds and then, after a period of silence, begin the exact same sequence again. It is a performance of remarkable discipline and memory, a symphony with its own rules and structure, composed not on a page, but within the mind of the whale itself. But the song is never static. It is a living, changing entity. Over months and years, the whales in a population will collectively change their song. A phrase might be slightly altered, a new theme might be introduced, or an old one might be dropped. These changes are not chaotic. They are learned and adopted by all the singing males in the group. Sometimes a new song will even spread from one population to another, like a hit tune crossing the ocean, until an entirely new melody is being sung across thousands of miles. This constant, gradual evolution makes the humpback song one of the most fascinating examples of animal culture, a shared, artistic expression that grows and transforms over time. The purpose of this beautiful song is still a subject of gentle mystery, but it is believed to be primarily for courtship. During the breeding season, the males are the ones who sing, their powerful voices filling the water as a display of fitness and vitality. A strong, complex, and enduring song might signal to a potential mate that this is a healthy, experienced whale. The song may also serve to establish territory or to facilitate interactions between males, yet to reduce it to mere biological function feels incomplete. The The song's complexity, its beauty, and the clear effort poured into its performance suggest that for the humpback, singing is an act that transcends simple utility. It is, perhaps, an expression of being, a way to fill the vast emptiness of the ocean with meaning and connection. The medium through which this song travels is as marvelous as the song itself. Sound moves through water nearly 5 times faster than through air, and it travels much, much farther. The low-frequency notes of the humpback, in particular, can propagate through special channels in the ocean known as the deep sound channel or SOFAR channel. Here, the interplay of water pressure and temperature creates a pathway that can trap and carry sound waves for incredible distances with little loss of energy. A song begun off the coast of Hawaii can, in theory, be heard by another whale thousands of miles away, near Alaska. The ocean to a whale is not a silent void, but a vibrant network of sound, a web of interconnected voices. To us, listening to a recording of a humpback song is a deeply soothing, almost spiritual experience. The slow, building themes, the haunting lows, and the graceful, fluting highs create a soundscape that feels both ancient and deeply emotional. It is a lullaby composed over millions of years, a melody that has echoed through the oceans long before humans ever built a boat. It speaks of loneliness and longing, of community and celebration, of the simple, profound need to reach out and be heard. So, as you lie in the quiet of your room, let your mind fill with the imagined sound of this ocean song. Let the deep moans and soaring whistles wash over your thoughts, carrying away the noise of the day. There is no need to understand the language, only to feel its resonance. In the dark, the whales are singing their slow, changing ballads, connecting with one another across the unseen distances, reminding us that even in the deepest solitude, there is a song waiting to be shared. As the haunting melodies of the humpback song fade into the oceanic distances, we begin to follow the singers themselves on their next great act, a journey of epic proportions. The whales do not remain in one place. They are the great navigators of the deep, embarking on one of the longest known migrations of any mammal on Earth. This is a timeless pilgrimage driven by ancient rhythms, a slow and powerful pulse that beats across thousands of miles of open ocean. This great annual journey is dictated by 2 fundamental needs: the need to feed and the need to breed. In the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the polar regions, the ocean blooms with life. Here, in places like the Arctic and the Antarctic, whales spend their summers feasting. The water teems with krill and small fish, providing a rich banquet that allows them to build up thick layers of blubber, their energy reserve for the long journey ahead. These feeding grounds are their kitchens, their places of abundance, where they must consume enough to sustain them for many months. But these fertile, cold waters are not safe or suitable for raising newborn calves. The temperatures are frigid, and the threat from predators like orcas is ever present. And so as the days grow shorter and the polar ice begins to reclaim the sea, the whales feel an ancient call. It is time to travel. They leave their feeding grounds behind and begin a slow, steady swim toward the warm, shallow tropical waters near the equator. These breeding grounds offer safety for the vulnerable newborns. The warm water helps the calves conserve their own energy, as they have not yet built up the insulating blubber of the adults. The relative lack of large predators provides a nursery where they can grow stronger, learning to swim and breathe under the watchful eye of their mothers. Imagine this journey from the perspective of a whale. For months they swim. There are no maps, no road signs in the trackless blue. They navigate by reading the stars that pierce the ocean's surface, by sensing the subtle magnetic fields of the Earth, by listening to the distant song of others who have gone before, and by following the temperature and chemical signatures of the water itself. They swim through storms and calms, through day and night, in a state of steady, purposeful motion. A humpback whale, for instance, may travel over 5,000 miles each way, a round trip that can total more than 10,000 miles in a single year. They rarely eat during this entire transit, living solely on the energy stored in their bodies from the summer feast. This migration is not a frantic race, but a patient, enduring trek. A whale might cover 50 or 60 miles in a day, moving at a slow, energy-conserving pace. They often swim close to the surface, their great backs breaking the water in a slow, rolling rhythm that is the very picture of determination. They may travel alone, in mother-calf pairs, or in small, loose groups. There is a profound solitude to this journey, a sense of a single being moving through an immense, empty world, guided only by instinct and the promise of a destination. The cycle is a perfect, balanced loop. They spend their summers in the cold, building energy. They travel to the warmth to give birth mate and sing their songs. Then, as the tropical waters grow too warm and nutrient-poor to support them, they begin the long return journey, arriving back in the polar feeding grounds just as the spring bloom erupts once more. This cycle repeats year after year, generation after generation. The paths they swim are older than human civilization, highways of instinct etched into the planet's oceans. For us, contemplating this great migration can bring a deep sense of peace. It is a reminder of the planet's grand, cyclical nature. It speaks of patience, of trusting in an internal compass, of undertaking a long journey not with haste, but with the quiet confidence that the path is true and the destination is sure. The whale does not question the journey. It simply swims, a living part of the Earth's great breathing rhythm. So as you rest tonight, imagine yourself carried by a slow, powerful current. Feel the sense of purpose that requires no hurry, the confidence of a path well-traveled. Let your thoughts drift with the whales on their ancient watery roads, moving through the starlit darkness toward a warm and safe harbor. There is no need to rush. The journey is long, but you are exactly where you need to be. In our journey through the lives of whales, we now turn from the sun-drenched migration routes to the cold, dark, and silent world of the Arctic. Here, beneath the ice and the shimmering auroras, swims a being that holds one of life's most profound secrets. The bowhead whale, a creature that can live for more than 2 centuries. In its slow, icy world, time itself seems to stretch and slow, offering us a glimpse into a life measured not in years, but in the patient passing of entire eras. The bowhead whale is a robust, dark giant, uniquely adapted to its frozen realm. It possesses a massive, bow-shaped skull that makes up nearly a third of its body length, a powerful tool for breaking through sea ice to create breathing holes. Its blubber is the thickest of any animal, a layer up to 2 feet deep that insulates it from water that is perpetually near freezing. But its most astonishing feature is one we cannot see: its incredible longevity. While most large whales may live for 70 to 100 years, the bowhead stands apart. Scientists have found ancient, century-old stone harpoon points embedded in the blubber of living individuals, and eye tissue analysis has confirmed ages well over 200 years. This means a bowhead whale swimming today may have been born when Napoleon still walked the earth, a silent witness to the entire span of modern human history. The secret to this extraordinary lifespan lies deep within the bowhead cells. All living things face the slow, accumulating damage of time. Our cells deteriorate, DNA becomes corrupted, and the risk of diseases like cancer increases. The bowhead whale, however, has evolved a remarkable suite of biological defenses against this inevitable decay. Its DNA possesses incredibly efficient repair mechanisms. When damage occurs from sunlight, radiation, or simple cellular wear and tear, the bowhead's cellular machinery fixes it with a precision that far surpasses our own. It is as if this whale holds the master blueprint for cellular maintenance, tirelessly editing and restoring its own genetic code to remain vibrant and healthy across centuries. Furthermore, the bowhead whale shows remarkable resistance to diseases of aging, particularly cancer. Given its immense size and vast number of cells, it should, in theory, be highly susceptible to tumors. Yet it is not. Evolution has endowed it with unique tumor suppressor genes and other protective adaptations that prevent cancerous cells from ever gaining a foothold. Scientists are studying these genetic secrets intensely, hoping they might one day illuminate new paths for human medicine. For the bowhead, however, it is simply the way of life, a natural, inherent resistance to the plagues of time written into every cell of its massive body. Its environment, though harsh, also contributes to its long life. The cold Arctic waters may seem inhospitable, but they enforce a slow, energy-conserving pace of existence. The bowhead's metabolism is calibrated for this cold, a slow and steady burn that may reduce the production of the metabolic byproducts that cause oxidative stress and cellular aging. There are no frantic chases here, no bursts of desperate speed. Its life is one of slow, powerful movements through a world of immense quiet, a rhythm that places minimal stress on its body. Its heart beats slowly. Its breath is taken at long, regular intervals. It is a life of profound physiological peace. To contemplate the life of a bowhead is to expand our understanding of time. This whale has witnessed the melting and freezing of countless ice sheets. It has heard the songs of its ancestors change over generations. It has felt the ocean's currents shift over decades. Its long memory, held not in a brain like ours, but in the very endurance of its body, connects it to a past we can only read about in books. It is a living archive of the Arctic, a timeless giant moving through a world of white and blue. This incredible longevity offers a soothing perspective. In a world that often feels rushed and transient, the bowhead whale is a testament to stability, resilience, and slow, steady endurance. It reminds us that some of the most profound forces are not quick or flashy, but patient and deeply rooted. The bowhead does not fight time. It has formed a graceful alliance with it, moving through the centuries with a quiet, unshakable strength. So, as you rest, let the frantic pace of the modern world soften and fade. Imagine the slow, dark, cold water of the Arctic and the great, dark shape of the bowhead moving through it, a being for whom a century is but a season. Let your own sense of time widen, your breathing deepen. There is no hurry. In the grand, quiet scheme of life, some journeys are meant to last 200 years. Rest, with the knowledge that endurance is written into the very fabric of life. In the great tapestry of life, we often find the most profound truths in the most unexpected pairings. We have marveled at the immense heart of the blue whale and the ancient longevity of the bowhead. Now we turn to one of nature's most beautiful paradoxes, how the very largest creature in our planet's history sustains itself not by hunting other giants, but by feeding on some of the ocean's most minute inhabitants. This is the gentle art of filter feeding, a process of breathtaking efficiency and grace that turns the blue whale into a peaceful giant, a living sieve drifting through clouds of life. To witness a feeding blue whale is to see one of the ocean's great ballets. It begins with a search. The whale swims slowly through nutrient-rich waters, its senses tuned to the presence of dense swarms of krill, tiny, shrimp-like crustaceans that drift in the billions. Once a patch is located, the whale's body transforms. It accelerates, its great mouth opening to an almost perpendicular angle, becoming a cavernous living net. The lower jaw expands and unfolds, and the throat pleats. Those long grooves running along its underside balloon outward, allowing the whale to engulf a volume of water greater than that of its own body. In this single, fluid motion, the whale takes in thousands of gallons of seawater, along with the shimmering pink mass of krill trapped within. For a moment, the whale is a vast swimming vessel, its outline distorted by the weight of the water it contains. and the second act begins. With immense power and control, the whale closes its mouth. Its massive tongue, a piston of muscle weighing as much as an elephant, pushes forward, pressing against the roof of the mouth. This action forces the seawater out, but not through the front. Instead, the water is squeezed sideways through the whale's baleen plates. The baleen is the true marvel of this system. These are not teeth, but hundreds of long, flexible plates made of keratin, the same substance as our own fingernails and hair, that hang from the whale's upper jaw. The inner edge of each plate is frayed into a dense, hair-like mat. As the seawater is forced out through these mats, they act as a supremely efficient filter. The tiny krill, along with other small organisms, are trapped against the bristles, unable to escape. Once the water is expelled, the whale uses its powerful tongue to sweep the collected krill from the baleen fringes and swallow the nourishing paste. What remains is a clean, satisfying meal harvested from a universe of tiny lives. This method of feeding is not unique to the blue whale, though it performs it on the grandest scale. Humpback whales have developed an even more ingenious technique, one that showcases remarkable intelligence. When they find a school of small fish, they do not always charge in with open mouths. Instead, a group of humpbacks will often work together. They swim in a shrinking circle below the fish, and as they do, one or more whales release a stream of air from their blowholes. This creates a shimmering cylindrical net of bubbles that rises around the school, confusing and containing the fish, herding them into a tight, dense ball. Then, with a coordinated lunge from below, the whales swim up through the center of the bubble net, their mouths wide open, consuming the concentrated prey in a single, efficient gulp. This is tool use, using air as a tool, a testament to the sophisticated minds at work beneath the waves. The ecological poetry of this relationship is deeply soothing. The blue whale, the mightiest physical force in the animal kingdom, is inextricably linked to the fragile, drifting krill. The krill, in turn, feed on microscopic phytoplankton, which themselves harness the energy of the sun. This creates a short, immensely powerful food chain, from the sun's energy to phytoplankton to krill to the largest animal of all. The whale's existence is a direct consequence of the ocean's smallest, most abundant life forms. It is a lesson in humility and connection, a reminder that true strength often relies on the quiet, foundational elements of the world. Contemplating the filter-feeding whale invites a sense of profound peace. There is no violence in this hunt, only a slow, rhythmic gathering. It is a process of incorporation, of taking in the bounty of the sea with a gentle, overwhelming grace. The whale moves through the water not as a terrifying predator, but as a serene harvester, its great mouth opening and closing in a rhythm as old as the oceans themselves. Its life is a testament to the idea that one can be immense and powerful, yet live a life of peaceful consumption, in perfect harmony with the cycles of the natural world. So as you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself as weightless as a krill in a vast blue sea. Feel the gentle, powerful currents that sustain life. There is no struggle here, only the quiet, rhythmic pulse of feeding and being, of giving and taking. The great whale moves through the water, a peaceful giant in a world of tiny wonders. And all is as it should be. As we continue to explore the hidden lives of whales, we must now slip deeper beneath the surface into a realm where our primary sense, sight, becomes almost useless. In the ocean's depths, light fades rapidly, leaving a world of perpetual twilight and eventually absolute darkness. Here, the eyes of a whale can only perceive shadows and the faintest glimmers. To navigate this vast, featureless blue, to find food, family, and love, whales have mastered a different dimension of perception. They live in a world built not of light and color, but of sound and vibration. For a whale, to hear is to see. Imagine closing your eyes and trying to understand your surroundings solely by listening. Now expand that to an entire ocean. This is the whale's reality. Sound is the perfect medium for their aquatic world. It travels about 5 times faster in water than in air, and it carries much, much farther. A low-frequency sound like the rumble of a blue whale or the deep moan of a fin whale can travel for hundreds, even thousands, of miles through the ocean's deep sound channels. For these giants, the ocean is not a silent void but a vibrant, humming network of information, a symphony of distant voices and echoing landscapes. The most sophisticated users of this sonic sense are the toothed whales, like sperm whales, orcas, and dolphins. They have evolved a biological sonar system called echolocation. It is a process of active listening that is as precise as it is magical. A whale will produce a rapid series of clicks formed in its nasal passages and focused outward by a large fatty organ in its forehead known as the melon. These clicks are among the loudest sounds made by any animal, and they shoot through the water like a beam of sound. When these sound waves strike an object, a squid hiding in the dark, a rocky canyon wall, or a friend swimming nearby, they bounce back as echoes. The returning echoes are captured primarily by the whale's lower jaw, which is filled with a special fat that conducts sound with incredible efficiency to the inner ear. The whale's brain then processes these returning signals with supercomputer speed, constructing a detailed, three-dimensional sound picture of its surroundings. Through echolocation, a sperm whale diving into the blackness of the abyss can see the size, shape, density, and even the internal structure of a giant squid tens of feet away. It can distinguish between a rock and a fish, or perceive the subtle heartbeat of a creature hiding in the sand. This sound picture is so rich and detailed that it allows them to navigate complex environments and hunt with pinpoint accuracy in total darkness. But this world of sound is not only for navigation and hunting, it is the foundation of their social fabric. For the baleen whales, like humpbacks and blues, sound is their social media, their telephone, their postal service. Their low-frequency calls are their way of keeping in touch across unimaginable distances. A lonely whale can call out and know that its song might reach a potential mate or a distant family member over the horizon. A mother and calf constantly exchange soft, intimate calls, a sonic tether that keeps them connected even when they cannot see each other in murky water. Their sounds convey identity, emotion, and intention, weaving a web of connection across the liquid deserts of the open ocean. This reliance on sound makes whales profoundly vulnerable to a new, human-made phenomenon: noise pollution. The constant drone of container ships, the explosive pulses of seismic air guns used for oil exploration, and the pinging of military sonar create a cacophony in their once pristine world. It is as if a blinding, disorienting fog has suddenly fallen over their carefully mapped sonic universe. These noises can mask the vital calls between mothers and calves, disrupt migratory paths, and even cause physical harm and hearing loss. The quiet, resonant world they have inhabited for millions of years is becoming increasingly loud and chaotic. To contemplate the whale's sonic world is to open our minds to a different way of being. It is a world where a whisper can cross an ocean, where a landscape is painted not in color, but in resonance, and where the deepest bonds are formed through vibrations felt in the bone. It reminds us that our perception of reality is limited by our own senses, and that other, equally rich and complex worlds exist just beyond our awareness. So, as you lie in the quiet of your room, listen. Listen to the soft sound of your own breathing, the distant hum of the world outside. Imagine each sound as a ripple, traveling through the dark, painting a picture of the space around you. And then, imagine diving deeper into a silence so profound that it is filled only with the echoes of life itself. The gentle clicks and deep, resonant calls that guide the whales through their endless blue night. In their world, to listen is to know, to connect, and to be. Rest now in the quiet, and know that in the deep, the whales are singing their world into being. From the resonant, interconnected world of whale song, we now descend into the realm of the ultimate hunter, the master of the abyss, the sperm whale. This is a creature built for the vertical world, a mammal that holds the record for the deepest and longest dive of any air-breathing animal. Its life is a cycle of breath-holding on an epic scale, a journey into a cold, black pressure that would crush any other being, all in pursuit of one of the ocean's most elusive and mythical creatures, the giant squid. Imagine the scene at the surface. The sperm whale is a unique and unmistakable shape with a massive, blocky head that makes up a third of its length and a wrinkled, dark body that hints at immense, hidden power. It is social and vocal here, chattering with its family pod. But when it is time to feed, it becomes a solitary pioneer of the deep. It positions itself vertically, its head pointing down toward the abyss. With a final, powerful exhalation and a deep, sighing inhalation that collapses its lungs to protect them from the pressure, it begins its descent. Its great tail fluke lifts high into the air for one last moment, a dark signal against the sky, and then it slips silently beneath the waves, beginning a journey into a world without light. The descent is a rapid fall into increasing darkness and cold. The sperm whale is built for this. Its body is a marvel of deep-diving engineering. Its blood is exceptionally rich in hemoglobin, the molecule that carries oxygen, and its muscles are saturated with myoglobin, which stores even more oxygen. This allows it to hold its breath for up to 90 minutes. As it dives, its heart rate slows dramatically from about 60 beats per minute at the surface to a mere 10 beats per minute, sometimes even less. It redirects blood flow only to its essential organs, the brain and the swimming muscles, shutting down digestion and other non-vital functions. It is a state of suspended animation, a conscious, meditative coma that allows it to survive where no other mammal can. Its target lies in the midnight zone, more than 2,000 feet down, and often as deep as 600 feet or more. Here, in the eternal cold and crushing pressure, dwells the giant squid, a creature of legend nearly as long as the whale itself. This is not the realm of sight, but of sound. The sperm whale is the largest-brained predator on Earth, and it uses this intelligence to operate the most powerful biological sonar system in existence. From its massive head, which is filled with a waxy substance called spermaceti, it emits deafening, focused clicks. These clicks are so powerful they can stun prey, and their echoes paint a perfect three-dimensional sound picture of the pitch-black world. The whale can see the ghostly, drifting form of a giant squid with astonishing clarity, discerning its tentacles and the shape of its body from the faint, returning vibrations. The hunt itself is a silent, violent ballet in the dark. Once the squid is located, the whale uses its powerful tail to launch a final, swift attack. It seizes the squid in its long, tooth-studded lower jaw. The struggle is monumental, a battle between two titans of the deep, leaving the whale with the characteristic scars and sucker marks that pattern its skin. The whale consumes several hundred squid in a single dive, including the giant, which provides a massive, nutritious prize. After the hunt, when its oxygen stores are nearly depleted, the whale begins its slow, buoyant ascent. It returns to the surface, often lethargic and needing time to recover, to breathe and to process the nitrogen that has built up in its tissues, a final physiological hurdle in its incredible journey. When it breaks the surface, the first breath is a powerful, explosive spout angled forward, a signal of its return from another world. It will spend up to 10 minutes at the surface, breathing deeply, its heart rate returning to normal, before it may choose to dive again. Its life is this rhythm, socializing and breathing in the light, then solitude and hunting in the absolute dark. To contemplate the sperm whale's dive is to understand the extremes of life on our planet. It is a story of physiological mastery of a body and mind perfectly tuned for an environment we find alien and hostile. It is a reminder that the greatest mysteries and the most epic battles are not happening on land, but in the silent, cold, and immense darkness of the deep ocean, witnessed only by the hunter and its prey. So, as you rest, imagine the slow, deliberate descent into the quiet. Feel the weight of the world above and the peace that comes from surrendering to the depths. There is no need to struggle, only to drift downward into a dream of dark water and silent, echoing clicks where giants hunt in a world without light. Let the immense pressure of the day melt away and find peace in the profound stillness of the deep. Sleep and dream of the great dark descent and the gentle return to the light. After the solitary, epic dives of the sperm whale, we now return to the sunlit shallows and the vibrant social world of the pod. For many whales, life is not a lonely journey, but a rich tapestry of relationships woven with threads of communication, cooperation, and deep, enduring affection. The pod is more than just a group. It is a family, a community, a living repository of knowledge and tradition that is passed down through generations. In the complex social structures of whales, we see reflections of our own need for connection, and we learn that intelligence is not just for solitary hunting, but for building a life together. Imagine the ocean not as an empty blue expanse, but as a network of villages, each with its own residents and customs. The most famous of these are the orcapods, whose social structures are among the most stable and complex in the animal kingdom. An orca is never truly alone. It is born into a matrilineal pod led by the oldest female, the grandmother. Her knowledge is the pod's greatest treasure. She remembers the location of reliable salmon runs that shift over decades. She knows how to hunt seals on particular ice flows, and she recognizes the unique calls of distant pods. Her long life, which can span over 90 years, is a living library of survival, and her descendants, her children, and her children's children, stay with her for life, learning from her wisdom and cooperating in every aspect of life. This cooperation is the key to their success. We see it in the breathtaking hunting strategies of orcas. In the frigid waters of Antarctica, pods work together to create waves that wash seals off unstable ice flows. In the coastal waters of Argentina, they intentionally beach themselves to catch young sea lions, a daring maneuver that requires perfect timing and trust, with the rest of the pod ready to help drag the hunter back to sea. This is not mere instinct. It is coordinated, learned behavior taught by elders to the young through years of observation and practice. The pod hunts as one entity, communicating with a rich repertoire of clicks, whistles, and calls that are unique to their family group. But the social bonds of whales extend far beyond the practicalities of hunting. We see profound care and empathy, particularly in the relationship between a mother and her calf. A humpback or a right whale calf will swim close beside its mother, often resting a flipper on her back in a gesture of touch that speaks of deep comfort and security. The mother will nurse her calf for a year or more with milk that is so rich it has the consistency of toothpaste, fueling rapid growth. She will also protect it fiercely, positioning her massive body between her vulnerable offspring and any potential threat, including boats or curious predators. This maternal bond is one of the strongest forces in the natural world, a selfless investment in the future of the pod. The social life of whales is also filled with moments of pure, joyful play. Young whales, much like human children, learn through games. They will chase each other, practice breaching, and play with bits of seaweed or other objects they find floating in the water. These activities are not just for fun. They build muscle, hone coordination, and strengthen the social bonds that will define their adult lives. Even adults engage in play, with great males sometimes seen gently interacting with calves, or groups of whales socializing at rendezvous sites. Their bodies rubbing against each other in what appears to be a gesture of affection and community. And then there is the phenomenon of grief. There are numerous well-documented accounts of whales, dolphins, and orcas showing clear signs of mourning for their dead. A mother may carry her deceased calf on her back or in her mouth for days or even weeks, unwilling to let go, tirelessly supporting its body as she swims. The entire pod may slow its travel, staying with the grieving mother, their movements subdued. This profound expression of loss suggests a deep emotional capacity, an understanding of death, and a bond so powerful that its severance causes visible, enduring sorrow. It is a heartbreaking but powerful reminder that love and attachment are not uniquely human experiences. To contemplate the wisdom of the pod is to find a deep sense of comfort. It reminds us that we too are social creatures, wired for connection and community. The whales teach us that strength is found not only in individual power, but in collective care, in the sharing of knowledge, and in the simple, sustaining act of being together. Their lives are a testament to the idea that the most successful strategy for survival is often cooperation, and that the deepest intelligence is emotional intelligence. So, as you rest tonight, imagine yourself surrounded by a pod. Feel the safety and comfort of being part of something larger than yourself. Let the gentle, supportive presence of family and community cradle your thoughts. There is no need to face the vast ocean alone. In the wisdom of the whale, we are reminded to cherish our elders, protect our young, and nurture the bonds that truly sustain us. Rest now, held in the gentle, invisible net of connection, just as the whales are held by their pod. In the grand architecture of life, every creature is a marvel of biological engineering, perfectly suited to its niche. For the great baleen whales, the serene blue, the acrobatic humpback, the graceful right whale, their most defining feature is not found in their powerful tails or immense size, but within their mouths. They possess one of nature's most elegant and efficient harvesting tools, the baleen basket. This remarkable structure transforms these leviathans into gentle giants of the sea, allowing them to feast on the smallest organisms in the ocean with a peaceful, sweeping grace. To understand the baleen, we must first let go of the image of sharp, predatory teeth. Baleen is not bone, nor is it tooth enamel. It is made of keratin, the same resilient yet flexible protein that forms our own fingernails and hair. Hundreds of these long, triangular plates hang in parallel rows from the whale's upper jaw, resembling the slats of a giant Venetian blind. The outer edge of each plate is smooth, but the inner edge is where the magic happens. It is frayed into millions of hair-like bristles, creating a dense, matted filter of astonishing fineness. This entire structure, the arched jawbone lined with these fringed plates, forms the baleen basket, a living, breathing sieve that can strain a universe of microscopic life from the sea. The feeding process is a breathtaking ballet of power and precision. It begins with the whale locating a dense patch of its prey, a shimmering cloud of krill in the case of a blue whale, or a school of small fish for a humpback. The whale then accelerates, often with its mouth agape. For the colossal blue whale, this is known as lunge feeding. Its throat expands dramatically, thanks to the accordion-like pleats on its underside, and it engulfs a volume of water and krill that can be larger than its own body. In this moment, the whale becomes a living vessel, a temporary container for a small piece of the ocean itself. Once the mouth is full, the whale begins the delicate work of filtration. It closes its jaws, and its massive tongue, a piston of muscle, pushes upward against the roof of the mouth. This action forces the seawater out, but the krill and small fish are trapped. The water is expelled sideways through the tight mesh of baleen bristles, while the prey remains inside, pressed against the bristles like pasta caught in a colander. The whale then uses its tongue to sweep the collected mass of tiny organisms from the baleen fringes and swallow them. This entire sequence, the lunge, the close, the filter, and the swallow, is a seamless rhythmic act of harvesting, repeated over and over as the whale moves peacefully through the rich waters. The design of the baleen is not one size fits all. It is exquisitely tailored to each species' diet. The baleen of the right whale, which feeds on even smaller copepods, has extremely long plates with an incredibly fine, silky fringe, perfect for filtering the tiniest of prey from the water. In contrast, the humpback's baleen is coarser, better suited for trapping small fish. This specialization shows the nuanced hand of evolution, crafting a specific tool for a specific culinary niche, all from the same basic biological material. There is a profound, almost philosophical lesson in the baleen basket. The largest animals on Earth do not pursue large, formidable prey. They do not engage in violent struggles. Instead, they have perfected the art of harvesting abundance. Their survival is tied to the countless drifting lives that form the foundation of the marine food web. The blue whale, a being of monumental power, is sustained by the humble krill. This relationship is a powerful reminder of interconnection, that the mightiest often depend on the meekest, and that true strength can be expressed through gentleness and efficiency. Contemplating the baleen whale's feeding ritual is a deeply soothing experience. There is a harmonious rhythm to it, the slow, powerful lunges, the gentle filtering of water, the peaceful consumption. It is a process entirely devoid of aggression, a serene gathering of life to sustain life. The whale moves through the ocean not as a destroyer, but as a careful curator, taking only what it needs from the infinite plenty of the sea. So as you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself floating in a calm, nutrient-rich sea. Feel the gentle sweeping motion of a peaceful harvest. Picture the great dark shape of the whale moving slowly, its baleen basket filtering the water, separating sustenance from the sea with a quiet, effortless grace. In this image, there is no struggle, only a perfect, rhythmic balance. The whale is fed, the ocean provides, and the cycle of life continues in a slow, gentle pulse. Rest now, cradled by the quiet efficiency of nature's most peaceful giants. In the great cyclical story of life, every ending is also a beginning. We have followed the whales through their majestic lives, their songs, their journeys, their social bonds, and their peaceful feeding. But even the life of a giant must one day come to a close. And when a whale dies, its story is far from over. Its final act is one of profound generosity, a last, magnificent gift to the world that sustained it. This event is known as a whale fall, and in the silent, food-scarce depths of the abyss, it creates a vibrant, teeming oasis of life that can endure for decades. The journey of a whale fall begins with the gentle descent of the great body. Having lived its life at the surface, breathing air and swimming in the light, the whale's massive carcass slowly sinks, drifting down through the darkening water like a falling cloud. This journey can take hours, the immense form turning slowly in the blue twilight until it finally comes to rest on the soft, silty floor of the deep sea, a place of perpetual cold, immense pressure, and near total darkness. In this barren landscape, the arrival of a whale is like a sudden rain in the desert, a manna from the world above. The first phase of the whale fall is a bustling, energetic feast for the mobile scavengers. The loud thud of the colossal body hitting the seafloor sends vibrations through the water, a dinner bell heard for miles. Sleeper sharks, with their slow, powerful movements, arrive to tear away great chunks of soft blubber and flesh. Hagfish, ancient and eel-like, burrow into the body, consuming it from the inside out. Amphipods, looking like swimming fleas the size of a thumb, swarm in their millions, covering the carcass in a writhing, living carpet. This mobile scavenger stage can last for up to 2 years, stripping the skeleton clean of its soft tissue, but even when the flesh is gone, the feast is far from over. The second phase begins as the whale's immense skeleton, still rich with lipids and oils locked within the bones, becomes the foundation for a strange and specialized community. This is the enrichment opportunist stage. Now, polychaete worms and crustaceans like zombie worms bore into the bones themselves, breaking down the fats and proteins within. These creatures are so uniquely adapted to this environment that many are found nowhere else on Earth. The seafloor around the skeleton becomes enriched with the nutrients released from the bones, supporting a diverse community of snails, clams, and other bottom-dwelling organisms. The final and longest phase is the sulfophilic stage, which can last for 50 years or more. As the bones continue to decay, bacteria that do not need oxygen begin to break down the remaining lipids and oils, a process that releases hydrogen sulfide into the surrounding sediment. This chemical, toxic to most life, becomes the foundation of an entire chemosynthetic ecosystem. Specialized bacteria that can metabolize the sulfide spring to life, forming a thick, white mat on the bones and the surrounding seafloor. These bacteria, in turn, become the base of a food web that includes mussels, clams, tube worms, and other creatures that have formed symbiotic relationships with them, the same kinds of life found around hydrothermal vents. A single whale skeleton can thus create a deep-sea island, sustaining a unique community for generations. The ecological significance of a whalefall is immense. In the nutrient-poor deep sea, these events are crucial hubs of biodiversity and energy distribution. They act as stepping stones, allowing species that would normally only exist around hydrothermal vents or cold seeps to disperse across the abyssal plains. A whalefall connects the surface world, powered by the sun, to the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, creating a bridge of life and energy that spans the entire water column. The whale, in its death, gives back everything it has accumulated over its long life, sustaining thousands of other creatures for decades. There is a deep, resonant peace in contemplating the whale fall. It is a powerful lesson in the interconnectedness of all things and the endless cycle of renewal. The whale's body, which once moved with such power and grace, becomes a source of life for an entire hidden world. There is no waste in nature, only transformation. The end of one journey is the beginning of countless others. The great singer of the ocean becomes a silent city in the deep. Its bones a cathedral for strange and beautiful forms of life. So as you rest, let this thought comfort you, that every ending holds the seed of a new beginning. Imagine the gentle, slow descent of the whale, a final, graceful dive into the dark, where its body becomes a gift, a sanctuary, a source of life for decades to come. In the grand, quiet scheme of our planet, nothing is ever truly lost. It is merely transformed from one beautiful form to another in an endless, peaceful cycle of giving and receiving. Sleep now and dream of the gentle fall, the quiet arrival, and the slow, sustained blossoming of life in the deep, dark silence. In the vast, fluid world of the ocean, where landmarks are few and survival depends on finding food and avoiding danger across immense distances, memory is more than a personal record. It is a collective treasure, the very lifeblood of a community. For many whales, particularly the highly social toothed whales like orcas and pilot whales, this treasure is held and protected by a single, crucial individual. The matriarch. She is the living library of the pod, the keeper of traditions, and the unwavering guide whose long life of accumulated wisdom ensures the survival of her family for generations to come. Imagine an orca pod navigating the cold, rich waters of the Pacific Northwest. The pod moves with a sense of purpose, but it is not a blind wandering. Its path is charted by the oldest female, a grandmother who may be 80, even 90 years old. She has outlived mates, witnessed the birth of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and her brain, large and complex, holds a mental map of the ocean that is decades in the making. She does not merely remember where the salmon run, she remembers when they run, understanding the subtle shifts in timing that occur over multi-decade climate cycles like the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. While younger whales might follow an immediate scent, she follows a calendar written in her mind, leading her family to abundant feeding grounds with an unerring sense of timing that can mean the difference between plenty and scarcity. Her wisdom extends far beyond navigation. She is the repository of hunting techniques, some of which are unique to her specific pod and are considered cultural knowledge. In the icy waters of Antarctica, an elder orca matriarch teaches her pod how to hunt seals by creating coordinated waves to wash them off ice floes. In the fjords of Norway, she leads the pod in a carousel feeding technique, herding herring into tight balls with bubbles and tail slaps. These are not simple instincts. They are complex, learned behaviors that are practiced, refined, and passed down. The matriarch ensures that this hard-won knowledge is not lost, teaching the younger females who will one day lead pods of their own. Her presence elevates the pod's hunting from a matter of chance to a refined art. But her role is not solely that of a navigator and a teacher. She is also the social and emotional core of the family. Orca societies are matrilineal, meaning family lineage is traced through the mothers. Daughters and sons remain with their mother for their entire lives, forming a multi-generational clan. The matriarch is the stabilizing force in this clan. She mediates conflicts, reinforces social bonds through gentle touches and vocalizations, and provides care not only for her own calves but for the calves of her daughters as well. This grandmother effect is a powerful evolutionary advantage. By helping to feed and protect her grandchildren, she ensures the survival of her own genetic lineage, freeing up her daughters to have more offspring. Her long life past reproductive age is not an anomaly. It is a feature, a strategic investment in the future of her family. In times of crisis, her value becomes most apparent. When food is scarce, it is her memory of alternative, less frequented hunting grounds that can save the pod from starvation. When a new threat appears, such as the sound of ship sonar or the presence of unfamiliar orca pods, it is her experience that guides the group's response. She has seen such things before. She knows whether to flee, to investigate, or to ignore. The younger whales look to her, reading her behavior for cues, their survival hinging on her calm, experienced assessment of the situation. Her memory provides a buffer against the unknown, a deep well of context that transforms potential panic into measured action. To contemplate the memory of a matriarch is to understand a different kind of intelligence, one that is deeply social, patient, and intergenerational. It challenges the notion that value diminishes with age, showing instead that in the complex societies of whales, age is synonymous with irreplaceable knowledge. The matriarch is the embodiment of time itself, a connection to the past that actively shapes the present and secures the future. Her slow, deliberate movements through the water are a physical manifestation of her deep, accumulated wisdom. So as you rest tonight, let your mind drift to the image of the great matriarch, her dark form cutting slowly through the water, her family arrayed around her in a constellation of trust and dependence. There is a deep comfort in this hierarchy of care, this unbroken chain of knowledge passed from mother to daughter across the centuries. It reminds us of the quiet, enduring power of elders, the silent strength that comes not from physical force, but from a life fully lived and remembered. In the whales world, the oldest voice is not the weakest. It is the one that guides the chorus, rest now, held in the certainty that there is a wisdom that guides the journey, a memory that charts the course, and a presence that watches over the pod, through the dark and into the light. In the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the polar feeding grounds, the humpback whale transforms from a gentle singer into a master strategist, an engineer of air and water. Here, where life gathers in immense, shimmering abundance. The humpback employs one of the most complex and breathtaking hunting techniques in the animal kingdom: bubble net feeding. This is not a solitary act of brute force, but a perfectly choreographed ballet of cooperation, communication, and intelligence, a demonstration of how minds can work together to shape the environment itself. The scene begins with the discovery of a vast school of small fish, or a dense cloud of krill. The water shimmers with their collective movement, a galaxy of silver life forms darting in unison. For a single whale, this school is too dispersed to efficiently harvest. But for a group of humpbacks, it is an opportunity. They will gather, sometimes as few as 2, sometimes as many as 20, and begin a remarkable collaborative effort. There is no leader in the traditional sense. Instead, there is a shared, understood purpose, a synchronized intention that flows between them. The hunt commences with a signal, often a specific vocalization that serves as a call to action. The whales then dive deep, positioning themselves well below the school of fish. One whale, often taking a leading role, begins to exhale. But this is no ordinary breath. It is a controlled, powerful stream of air released from its blowhole as it swims in a tightening circle. The bubbles rise rapidly through the water column, not as a chaotic foam, but as a shimmering cylindrical curtain. This is the bubble net, a temporary living fence of air that confuses and contains the prey. The fish, confronted by this wall of rising silver orbs, perceive it as a solid barrier. Their instinct is to herd together, to avoid the unknown threat, and they pack themselves into an ever tighter, panicked ball near the surface. While the bubble net is being laid, the other whales in the group contribute to the illusion. Some may produce loud, deep-frequency feeding calls from below the school. To the fish, these sounds are terrifying, an invisible predator rising from the abyss, further driving them upward and into the center of the bubbling cylinder. Others use their massive flippers, flashing their brilliant white undersides to startle and direct the fish. Every member of the pod has a role, their actions timed with exquisite precision, a symphony of coordinated behavior. Then comes the culmination, the moment of harvest. With the prey now trapped in a dense, frantic mass at the surface, the whales make their final move. As one, they rise from the depths with their mouths agape, surging up through the very center of the bubble net. Their cavernous jaws open to an almost perpendicular angle, their throat pleats expanding to engulf thousands of gallons of water and the entire concentrated ball of fish in a single, colossal gulp. It is a sight of immense power and grace. The dark, barnacle-crusted heads of the whales bursting through a swirling vortex of silver bubbles and silver fish, a temporary monument to collective effort. After they close their mouths and strain the water out through their baleen, they will often roll at the surface, a gesture that seems to express satisfaction, before diving to repeat the process all over again. This behavior is not innate, it is learned. It is a form of cetacean culture, passed down from one generation to the next within specific populations. Calves will swim alongside their mothers, observing, learning the timing, the circle size, and the specific vocalizations. Different groups of humpbacks in different parts of the world have even been observed developing their own variations of the technique, some spiraling to the left, others to the right, some using single nets, others creating multiple smaller nets. This is the hallmark of intelligent social learning, the ability to not just perform an action, but to innovate upon it. To witness a bubble net feed is to see the ocean's mind at work. It is a display of pure, applied intelligence, where air becomes a tool, sound becomes a weapon, and cooperation becomes the key to a feast. It shatters the old image of the whale as a simple, grazing giant, revealing instead a sophisticated, social being capable of complex planning and breathtakingly beautiful teamwork. So, as you drift towards sleep, let your mind paint a picture of this underwater dance. Imagine the slow, deliberate circling in the deep blue, the shimmering curtain of bubbles rising like a phantom net, and the powerful, unified lunge of the giants from below. There is a profound peace in this coordinated effort, a reminder that the greatest challenges are often met not alone, but together, in the silent, cold waters. The whales are weaving nets of air, turning chaos into order, and harvesting life through the quiet, brilliant power of a shared mind. Rest now, to the rhythm of this gentle, collaborative hunt. As we marvel at the whales in their liquid world, it is almost impossible to picture them anywhere else but the ocean. Their bodies seem to be the very essence of aquatic life, streamlined, powerful, and utterly at home in the deep blue. Yet, every creature carries within its bones the echoes of a distant past, a story of transformation written over millions of years. To understand the whale is to journey back in time, to an era when their ancestors were not rulers of the sea, but humble, hoofed creatures walking on solid ground, a world away from the ocean's depths. The story begins around 50 million years ago, in the warm, shallow seas and lush riverbanks of ancient Pakistan and India. Here lived a small, dog-sized mammal called Pachycetus. If you were to see it, you would not think whale. It looked more like a slender, long-snouted dog with hoofed toes. Pachycetus was a carnivore, likely wading in the water to hunt fish and other small animals. Its most significant link to modern whales was hidden in its skull, a specialized earbone structure that only whales and their ancestors possess. This was the first tentative step back into the water, a return to the source of all life. The evolutionary journey accelerated with creatures like Ambulocetus, the walking whale, about the size of a sea lion. Ambulocetus was a more committed aquatic resident. Its legs were shorter and more powerful, its feet were likely webbed, and its spine could undulate in an up and down motion, a precursor to the powerful tail-driven swimming of modern whales. It probably lived like a crocodile, lurking in estuaries and rivers, ambushing prey. It could still walk on land, but clumsily, its body becoming more and more specialized for a life in the water. Over the next several million years, the transformation became more profound. Generations of these early whales, known as archaeocetes, spent more time in the water. Their front limbs shortened into paddles for steering. Their hind limbs shrunk, becoming tiny vestigial remnants that were no longer useful for walking. Their bodies elongated and their tails grew stronger. The most telling change was the migration of their nostrils. To make breathing at the surface easier, the nostrils began to shift from the front of the snout to the top of the head, eventually becoming the blowhole we recognize today. This allowed the animal to breathe while almost entirely submerged, a crucial adaptation for a fully aquatic life. By about 35 million years ago, the transition was largely complete. The first fully marine whales, the ancestors of today's baleen and toothed whales, had appeared. Their connection to the land was now almost entirely severed. The vestigial hip bones, detached from the spine and embedded deep in their muscle tissue, are the only skeletal reminders of the hind legs their ancestors once used to walk. These tiny, silent bones are a ghostly echo of a terrestrial past, a biological monument to an incredible evolutionary voyage. This grand narrative of the whale's origin is a profound source of wonder. It reminds us that the world is not static, but is in a constant, slow state of becoming. The same forces that shape the whale from a land walker into a sea swimmer are the forces that shape all life. It is a story of adaptation, of a lineage seizing an opportunity and, over countless generations, reshaping itself to fit a new world. The ocean was an empty niche, a blue frontier, and these courageous ancestors ventured into it, their bodies slowly transforming to master this new environment. To contemplate this deep history is to feel a connection to the immense, flowing river of time. The great blue whale, the singing humpback, the deep diving sperm whale, All are the descendants of a small, hoofed creature that one day decided the water was a safer place to hunt. Their story is one of the most dramatic and compelling examples of evolution we have, a testament to life's relentless creativity and its ability to explore every possible way of being. So, as you rest, let your mind drift back through the eons. Imagine the warm, shallow seas and the strange, crocodile-like creatures that were the great-great-grandparents of the giants we know today. In their transformation, we see the fluidity of life itself. There are no fixed forms, only endless possibilities unfolding across deep time. The whale did not arrive in the ocean fully formed. It became the ocean through patience and change. Sleep and dream of ancient shores of slow, deliberate steps into the water and of the magnificent, flowing journey that led from land to the deep blue sea. In the serene, weightless world of the ocean, even the most fundamental acts of life require ingenious adaptation. For air-breathing mammals like whales, sleep presents a unique and profound challenge: how to rest in an environment where a moment of unconsciousness could mean sinking into the abyss or failing to rise for a life-sustaining breath. The solution evolution has crafted is one of breathtaking elegance and efficiency, a state of rest known as unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, or simply sleeping with one half of the brain at a time. Imagine the necessity of this. A whale cannot simply drift off into a deep, dreamless slumber as we do. To drown is a constant, real danger. To surface and breathe is a conscious, voluntary act. There are no automatic reflexes to save them should they become fully unconscious in the water. And so over millions of years, their brains have learned to compartmentalize rest. While one hemisphere of the brain powers down into a state of deep, restorative sleep, the other hemisphere remains awake, alert, and in control. This vigilant half of the brain maintains awareness of the environment, coordinates movement to keep the blowhole above water, and ensures the whale continues to breathe at the necessary intervals. It is a biological marvel, a perfect compromise between the urgent need for rest and the non-negotiable demands of survival. The manifestation of this half-sleep is as graceful as it is strange. Whales are often observed resting motionless at or just below the surface of the water, a behavior known as logging because they resemble floating logs. Alternatively, they may swim very slowly and purposefully in a straight line. During this time, one eye remains open, controlled by the awake hemisphere of the brain, while the eye connected to the sleeping hemisphere is closed. The open eye keeps watch for predators, monitors the position of other pod members, and ensures the whale stays on course. For social whales like orcas and sperm whales, this state allows them to maintain their tight pod formations even while resting, a silent agreement of shared vigilance where different individuals rest different halves of their brains at different times, ensuring the group as a whole is always protected. The rhythm of this sleep is also tailored to their breathing needs. A whale might rest in this half-awake state for several minutes at a time, perhaps 10 or 15, before the two hemispheres switch roles. The tired, awake side gets its turn to power down into slow-wave sleep, while the freshly rested side takes over the duties of consciousness. This cycle repeats throughout the day and night in short, frequent sessions, allowing the whale to accumulate the rest it needs without ever surrendering full awareness. It is a life of perpetual shift work, managed within a single skull, a testament to the brain's incredible plasticity and capacity for division of labor. For newborn calves, this form of sleep is even more critical, and their mothers exhibit a remarkable adaptation to protect them. A mother whale, especially in the vulnerable first weeks of her calf's life, will enter a state of minimal sleep. She must not only manage her own half-brain rest, but also ensure her buoyant, learning calf stays close to her side and reaches the surface to breathe. They often rest together. The mother in a light one-hemisphere sleep, her body a steady, rising and falling platform for her newborn, her active brain tuned to every movement of her precious offspring. This shared vigilant rest is one of the most tender and demanding expressions of maternal care in the animal kingdom. Contemplating the whale's unique sleep brings a profound sense of peace and wonder. It is a reminder that rest is not a luxury, but a biological imperative so vital that life has invented incredible ways to secure it. The whale's solution is one of balance, a harmonious negotiation between the need for surrender and the need for survival. They teach us that it is possible to find rest without ever being completely defenseless, to recharge while still remaining present and aware of our surroundings. So, as you settle into your own rest, you can do so with the knowledge that your need for deep, uninterrupted sleep is a gift of your safe terrestrial environment. But you can also borrow a sense of calm from the whale's rhythm. Feel yourself floating, supported, breathing in a slow and steady pattern. Imagine one part of your mind gently standing watch, allowing the rest of you to drift into deeper peace, secure and safe. There is no danger here, only the gentle ebb and flow of consciousness, much like the whale resting at the surface of a calm, endless sea. Sleep now with one part of you always cradled in safety, just as the whale is cradled by the ocean and its own wondrous brain. In the absolute darkness of the deep sea, where sunlight is a forgotten memory and eyes are nearly useless, the sperm whale reigns as a master of a different sense. It navigates, hunts, and perceives its world not through light, but through sound, a sophisticated biological sonar so powerful and precise it borders on the miraculous. This is the realm of echolocation, a system of clicks and echoes that allows this great leviathan to paint a detailed sonic picture of the blackest abyss and track its elusive prey in the eternal night. Journey into this sonic world begins in the whale's massive head, a structure that makes up 1/3 of its entire body length. Within this great bulbous organ lies a complex sound-generating apparatus. The clicks are born in the whale's nasal passages, where air is forced through a pair of phonic lips, structures that vibrate much like our own vocal cords. But unlike our voice, these vibrations are channeled forward through a vast, oil-filled organ called the spermaceti organ, which acts as a powerful acoustic lens. This lens focuses the sound into a directional beam, a narrow, intense pulse of acoustic energy that the whale can project forward into the watery darkness. These are not gentle sounds. They are the loudest sounds produced by any animal, with intensities measured at over 230 decibels, louder than a rocket launch, powerful enough to stun prey, and potentially lethal to a human diver. Once this focused beam of sound is projected, it travels rapidly through the water, moving about 4 times faster than sound travels in air. When these powerful clicks encounter an object, the rocky wall of an underwater canyon, a shipwreck, or the soft, gelatinous body of a giant squid, they bounce back as echoes. The returning sound waves are captured primarily by the whale's lower jaw. Remarkably, the lower jawbone is hollow and filled with a special, oily fat that acts as an acoustic funnel, perfectly designed to conduct these faint returning signals to the whale's inner ear. This jaw, which appears so formidable for catching prey, serves a second, equally vital purpose as a highly sensitive acoustic antenna. The information contained in these returning echoes is astonishingly rich. The whale's large, complex brain processes the subtle differences in the time it takes for echoes to return, their direction, and their changed frequency. From this data, the whale can construct a detailed 3-dimensional mental image of its surroundings. It can discern the size of an object, distinguishing a small squid from a large one. It can determine the object's shape and even its internal structure. It is believed that a sperm whale can tell if a squid is muscular and healthy or frail and sickly. It can perceive the texture of the seafloor, the presence of underwater mountains, and the location of other whales. In the pitch black of the deep, the whale sees a world of sound, a landscape painted in echoes. This sophisticated sonar is not merely a tool for navigation. It is the key to the sperm whale's survival in its deep-sea hunting grounds. The whale's primary prey, the giant squid, is a master of camouflage and stealth in the darkness. Without light, the only way to locate and capture these elusive creatures is through this relentless pinging sonar. The whale will often scan the depths with regular, spaced clicks. When a potential target is detected, the rhythm of the clicks changes, becoming faster and more frequent, turning into a rapid buzz as it closes in for the final strike. This final buzz is the sound of the whale refining its sonic picture to the highest possible resolution, ensuring a successful capture in the void. To contemplate the sperm whale's echolocation is to open a window into a completely alien sensory universe. We are visual creatures, our understanding of the world dominated by light and color. The sperm whale lives in a world of sound and vibration, where the most important realities are not seen, but heard and felt. Its powerful clicks are the torchlights it uses to illuminate the midnight zone, a private conversation between the whale and its environment, a series of questions asked into the darkness, answered by the returning whispers of the deep. So, as you rest in the quiet of your room, listen to the silence. Imagine it not as an emptiness, but as a medium rich with potential information, like the deep ocean, and then in your mind send out a gentle probing click into the darkness. Imagine it traveling outwards and then returning, bringing with it a perfect, peaceful understanding of the space around you. There is no need for light. In the calm and the quiet, you can navigate by sound alone, just like the great sperm whale finding your way through the peaceful darkness, guided by the gentle echoes of a world at rest. Sleep well in the silent, echoing deep. As we have journeyed through the lives of whales, we have encountered their songs, their social bonds, and their ingenious hunting strategies. But underlying all these behaviors is something even more profound: the possibility of a true language, a complex system of communication that may include something we would recognize as names, and certainly includes distinct regional dialect. This is not the simple, instinctual calls of most animals, but a sophisticated, learned form of expression that suggests a rich inner world and a complex culture beneath the waves. Let us begin with the most compelling evidence: the signature whistle of the bottlenose dolphin, a close cousin of the whales. Each dolphin develops a unique signature whistle in its first few months of life. This whistle acts as a name, a vocal label that represents the individual. When dolphins separate, they call out these signature whistles, and others will respond with their own, creating a sonic roll call in the vastness of the ocean. Even more astonishingly, dolphins have been observed mimicking the signature whistles of absent companions, almost as if they are calling for them or speaking about them. This use of a learned, specific identifier for an individual is the closest parallel to human naming found in the animal kingdom, and it strongly suggests that toothed whales possess a concept of individual identity. While the evidence for baleen whales using specific names is less direct, the complexity of their communication is undeniable. The haunting songs of the humpback whale are not static. They are living, evolving cultural artifacts. Each population of humpbacks in a particular ocean basin, say those in the North Pacific versus those in the South Atlantic, sings a distinct and shared song. This is their dialect. The song is composed of themes and phrases arranged in a specific order, and all the males in the population conform to this pattern. But the song does not stay the same. Over time, the whales collectively change it. A phrase might be altered, a new one added, an old one dropped. These changes are learned and spread socially, not genetically. In one of the most remarkable examples of cultural transmission in the animal kingdom, a new song has been observed spreading from one population to another across the entire South Pacific, until all the whales were singing the new, fashionable tune. Beyond these structured songs, whales use a vast repertoire of other sounds for daily social life. Right whales, for instance, produce a variety of gunshot-like cracks, screams, and moans. Researchers have found that these sounds form distinct vocal clans within the same population. Whales from one vocal clan preferentially associate with others who share their acoustic style, much like humans, forming communities based on shared language and culture. For these highly social creatures, shared communication is the glue that binds the pod, the family, and the community together. It allows them to coordinate hunts, warn of danger, maintain contact over long distances, and reinforce social bonds. The purpose of this complex communication is multifaceted. For the humpback, the ever-changing song is believed to be primarily for courtship, a display of fitness and cultural prowess to attract a mate. For orcas and dolphins, the constant chatter of clicks, whistles, and pulsed calls is the fabric of their daily social existence. It is how a mother calls her calf, how allies coordinate a hunt, and how individuals greet one another after a separation. The clicks of echolocation provide a physical picture of the world, while these social sounds paint a picture of relationships, intentions, and emotions. To contemplate the language of whales is to be humbled. It forces us to reconsider our place in the natural world and our definition of intelligence. For centuries, we believed language and culture were uniquely human. Now we know that in the ocean's depths, other intelligent beings are singing, calling, and perhaps even speaking to one another in ways we are only beginning to decipher. Their conversations have been flowing through the world's oceans for millions of years, a grand, unseen network of information and connection that predates our own by eons. So, as you rest tonight, imagine the ocean not as a silent place, but as a vibrant, humming network of conversations. Picture the great whales, each with its own identity and its own place in a cultural tradition, calling out across the blue expanse. They are not just anonymous animals. They are individuals with histories, relationships, and a shared culture, connected by a language of low rumbles, complex songs, and signature whistles. In the quiet of your mind, listen for their distant calls, a reminder that we share our planet with other nations, other cultures, whose rich and complex lives are woven together by the ancient, enduring power of the voice. Rest now to the sound of this ancient, unseen conversation. From the complex, hidden world of whale language, we now turn to one of the most spectacular and joyful displays in the natural world, the breach. This is the moment when a whale, in an explosive release of power, launches its entire multi-ton body out of the water, twisting in the air before crashing back into the sea in a thunderous cascade of foam. It is a sight that inspires awe and wonder, a breathtaking defiance of gravity that seems to speak of pure, unadulterated joy. But what drives these giants to perform such an energetically costly feat? The reasons are as layered and profound as the whales themselves. The most immediate and obvious answer is communication. The sound of a breaching whale is immense, a sonic boom that travels for miles underwater. In the vast blue emptiness of the open ocean, where visibility is limited, this powerful splash acts as a long-distance signal. A humpback whale might breach to announce its presence to a potential mate or to a distant pod. It can serve as a warning to competing males, a display of strength and vitality that says, "I am here, I am strong." For a solitary whale, the echoing crash might be a way to make contact with others, a loud, percussive call in a world where sound is the primary medium of connection. Another practical reason is hygiene. A whale's skin is a living landscape, home to barnacles, whale lice, and various parasites. The tremendous impact of a 40-ton body hitting the water acts as a powerful exfoliant, scraping away these unwanted hitchhikers. The force of the breach can dislodge dead skin and irritants, providing a moment of relief. Similarly, the powerful slap of a tail or a flipper against the surface can serve the same purpose, a way to scratch an itch on a scale we can scarcely imagine. In this sense, the breach is a form of maintenance, a colossal shrug to shake off the burdens of the sea. Yet, to attribute the breach solely to practical purposes feels incomplete. Anyone who has witnessed a series of breaches, one after another, cannot help but see an element of pure, exuberant play. Young calves, in particular, are often seen breaching repeatedly near their mothers. For them, it is practice, a way to build the muscle and coordination they will need for their adult lives. But it also looks like fun. The sensation of launching into the air, of feeling gravity loosen its grip for a few precious seconds, of the rush of wind and the different perspective, must be a thrilling experience. For social whales, breaching can be a communal activity, with multiple whales leaping in sequence as if engaged in a game of aquatic follow the leader. The sheer biomechanics of a breach are a testament to the whale's incredible power. To propel itself almost entirely out of the water, a humpback whale must generate immense thrust with its powerful tail fluke. It begins with a deep dive, building up speed as it angles its body upward. Then, with a series of powerful, deep undulations, it drives itself toward the surface, often twisting its body in mid-air. The energy required is staggering, a significant expenditure for an animal that otherwise moves with such slow, efficient grace. This makes the breach an honest signal of fitness. Only a healthy, well-fed whale can afford to waste energy on such a spectacular display. To witness a breach is to feel a connection to the raw, joyful spirit of life itself. It is a reminder that these profound, intelligent beings are not merely survival machines. They are capable of exuberance, of what we can only interpret as delight. In that magnificent arc through the air, we see a creature fully inhabiting its own power, celebrating its existence in the most dramatic way possible. It is a splash of pure, wild poetry against the canvas of the sea. So, as you rest tonight, let your mind drift to a calm, sunlit ocean. Imagine the serene blue surface, suddenly broken by a dark, massive form soaring into the sky. Watch it hang for a moment at the apex of its leap, water streaming from its body, suspended between the world of the sea and the world of the air. Then feel the deep, resonant thump as it returns to its element, sending ripples across the surface that travel all the way to you. There is a message in that breach, a message of power, of presence, and of a joy so immense it cannot be contained. Let that feeling of unrestrained, joyful release wash over you. Let it carry away the weight of the day. There is a time for quiet songs in the deep, and there is a time for explosive, celebratory leaps into the light. Tonight, as you drift to sleep, remember the breaching whale, and know that even the largest hearts can be filled with a spirit of play. Rest now, and may your dreams be as light and free as a whale in flight. After the spectacular, energetic display of the breach, we now turn to a quieter, more tender chapter in the life of a whale, the sacred and demanding time of motherhood. For many great whales, the journey to give birth and raise their young leads them to specific, sheltered sanctuaries known as nursery grounds. These are often the calm, protected bays and shallow, warm water lagoons found in higher latitudes, the nurseries of the north and south. Here, in these watery cradles, the cycle of life begins anew, and the future of the pod is nurtured with immense care and devotion. The choice of a nursery is a strategic one, dictated by the profound vulnerability of a newborn whale calf. After a gestation period that can last over a year, a mother whale gives birth to a single calf that, while large by our standards, is incredibly fragile compared to its massive parent. A humpback calf, for instance, may be 12 feet long at birth, but it is born without the thick, insulating layer of blubber that protects its mother from the cold. The warm waters of these nursery grounds are therefore essential, reducing the energy the calf must expend to stay warm and allowing it to dedicate its resources to the most urgent task of all: growth. The first days and weeks of a calf's life are a whirlwind of learning and bonding. The calf must master 3 critical skills almost immediately: breathing, swimming, and nursing. The mother is its constant guide and support. She will often nudge her newborn to the surface for its first crucial breaths. She will swim slowly, allowing the clumsy, uncoordinated calf to stay close to her side, finding refuge in her slipstream, the current of water that flows along her massive body. This close physical contact, often with the calf resting its flipper on its mother's back, is a powerful bond, a tactile reassurance in a vast new world. Nursing is itself a marvel of aquatic adaptation. The calf does not suckle in the way land mammals do. Instead, the mother actively squirts her rich, fatty milk, a substance with the consistency of toothpaste and a fat content of over 40%, directly into the calf's mouth. This high-energy formula is essential, fueling a phenomenal growth rate. A blue whale calf can gain over 200 pounds every single day, drinking up to 150 gallons of milk. This intensive nursing requires the mother to draw upon her own fat reserves, built up during summer feeding, and is one reason the nursery grounds are chosen for their calmness and safety, allowing her to conserve energy while she nourishes her offspring. Safety is, indeed, the other primary reason for these migratory journeys to the nurseries. The cold, rich polar feeding grounds, while abundant with food, are also home to predators like orcas. The shallow, warm lagoons offer a refuge. The clear, calm waters make it harder for predators to approach unseen, and the limited depth can be a deterrent to large hunting packs. Here, a mother can rest more easily, her vigilance focused on her single calf rather than on constant threats from the environment. It is a trade-off. She forfeits feeding herself to guarantee the safety and rapid development of her young. This period of intensive motherhood is a time of quiet, profound communication. The mother and calf are in near constant acoustic contact. They develop unique, soft calls that they use to locate each other in murky water or when briefly separated. This private language, a gentle series of grunts and murmurs, strengthens their bond and ensures the calf never strays too far. The nursery is not a silent place, but a space filled with these intimate, whispered conversations. The first lessons in the social and vocal culture of their kind. To contemplate the whale nursery is to witness one of the most powerful forces in nature. Maternal investment. It is a story of selflessness, of a mother drawing on her very being to build the body of her child. It is a story of protection, of seeking out a safe harbor in a dangerous world. And it is a story of teaching, of patiently guiding a new life through its first tentative steps into the great blue universe it will one day call home. So, as you rest, imagine the tranquil, sun-dappled waters of a northern bay. Picture the immense, dark form of a mother whale moving with infinite patience, and beside her, her smaller, eager calf, mirroring her every move. Feel the profound peace of this protected space, the gentle rhythm of their synchronized breathing, the quiet sounds of their private language. It is a sanctuary of growth, a cradle of life, where the future is being tenderly woven, one day at a time. Let this image of devoted care and peaceful growth lull you into a deep and secure rest. You are safe, you are nurtured, and you are surrounded by a quiet, powerful love, as deep and as constant as the ocean itself. Sleep now, cradled in the warmth of the nursery. In the great blue expanse of the open ocean, no creature, not even the mighty whale, lives in true isolation. Around these gentle giants swirls a constellation of smaller lives, birds that flutter and dive, and fish that dart and gleam. These are not mere coincidental neighbors. They are symbiotic travelers, species that have evolved to live in close association with whales, forming relationships of mutual benefit that turn the solitary journey of a giant into a moving ecosystem, a bustling metropolis cruising slowly through the sea. The most visible of these companions are the seabirds. From the far-off vantage of the sky, a whale is a beacon of opportunity. As a whale feeds, it often drives schools of small fish and clouds of krill toward the surface. For birds like shearwaters, petrels, and gulls, this is a signal to feast. They gather in wheeling, crying flocks above the whale, diving into the disturbed water to snatch the disoriented prey. The whale acts as a living fishing net, herding and concentrating food that would otherwise be scattered and difficult to catch. In the cold waters of the poles, even penguins have been known to join this opportunistic frenzy, porpoising through the water to share in the bounty stirred up by a lunge-feeding humpback or a fin whale. But the most dedicated of the avian companions is the phalarope, a small, delicate shorebird that undertakes an incredible migration to spend its non-breeding season at sea. Phalaropes are often found riding peacefully on the backs of grey whales, their tiny forms perched on the vast barnacled landscape of the whale's skin. For the phalarope, the whale is a floating rest stop, a safe platform far from land where it can preen its feathers and conserve energy. In return, the phalarope performs a valuable service. It picks and eats the parasitic whale lice and other small creatures that live on the whale's skin, providing a measure of relief from irritation. Beneath the waves, an even more intricate partnership unfolds. Small fish, most notably the slender striped pilotfish and various species of remora, become the whale's constant escorts. Pilotfish are often seen swimming in synchronized schools just ahead of a whale's mouth. They are thought to benefit from the pressure wave created by the whale's massive body, allowing them to swim with less effort. They also feed on the small particles of food that escape during the whale's messy meals. In a more direct attachment, the remora, with its specialized suction disc on top of its head, hitchhikes directly onto the whale's skin. It gets free transportation across vast oceanic distances, protection from larger predators, and meals from the whale's parasites and leftover food scraps. For the whale, the remora is a living cleaning crew, providing a grooming service it could never perform itself. These relationships are not one-sided transactions. They are elegant examples of mutualism, where both parties benefit. The whale gains hygiene and a reduction of irritating parasites, while the smaller creatures gain food, protection, and transportation. The whale's immense size and power create a sphere of influence, a moving oasis in the nutrient-poor open ocean. It disturbs the water, sheds skin and parasites, and provides a massive, safe surface to inhabit. In return, the bustling community of hangers-on helps keep the whale healthy and clean, creating a balanced, self-contained world. This traveling ecosystem also extends to the whale's own body. A whale's skin is not smooth and sterile. It is a living habitat, a landscape of hills and valleys created by barnacles and wrinkles. In these micro crevices live cyanids, often called whale lice. These are not true lice, but small crustaceous amphipods that spend their entire life cycle on a whale. They feed on the whale's dead skin and algae, performing a vital exfoliating service. While they may appear as parasites, their relationship is more complex. By consuming dead tissue, they may help prevent infection and keep the skin healthy, a subtle, lifelong partnership etched into the very skin of the giant. To contemplate these symbiotic travelers is to see the whale not as a solitary monarch, but as the heart of a floating community. Its journey is shared by dozens of other species, each playing a role in a delicate, mobile balance. The cry of the seabird, the flash of the pilotfish, and the gentle grazing of the remora are all part of the whale's world, a testament to the interconnectedness of life in the sea. No being, no matter how large, exists entirely for itself. So, as you drift towards sleep, imagine the great whale not alone, but as a living island. Picture the birds circling above like flying fish, and the small fish darting in its shadow like devoted attendants. See the tiny phalarope resting on the great barnacled back. This is a world of cooperation, of lives intertwined in a graceful, ancient dance of survival. There is no struggle here, only a peaceful mutual reliance. a quiet understanding between the giant and the small. Rest now as part of this great, interconnected web, where every creature, large and small, has its place and its purpose. And so, dear listener, our gentle journey through the world of whales comes to a quiet close. We have swam with them through the sunlit shallows and the midnight depths, witnessed their songs, their journeys, their families, and their final, generous gifts. We have seen them as nurturing mothers, wise elders, and playful giants. But as we prepare to drift into sleep, let us turn our gaze inward to a truth more profound and soothing than any other. The story of the whale is, in a very real sense, also our own. Every breath you take is a thread connecting you to these ocean giants. The oxygen that fills your lungs is the same molecule that once swirled in the blow of a humpback whale rising in the Antarctic dawn. The air we share is a continuous swirling tapestry, weaving the exhalations of all living things into one inseparable atmosphere. With each slow, deep breath in, you draw in the legacy of forests and phytoplankton. With each soft exhale, you release it back to the world, to be breathed in by countless other beings, seen and unseen. Your breath is part of this planet's great, rhythmic conversation. The water that makes up most of your body holds an even deeper memory. It is ancient. The very same water molecules that now flow through your veins have, over billions of years, evaporated from the oceans, fallen as rain on towering mountains, and tumbled down rivers back to the sea. These same molecules have circulated through the great hearts of blue whales, have been filtered through the baleen of a right whale, and have buoyed the playful calf in its northern nursery. The salt in your tears is a faint echo of the primeval sea from which all life emerged. You do not simply live on this planet, you carry its most essential element within you. And then there are the atoms themselves, the fundamental building blocks of your being, the calcium that strengthens your bones, the iron that carries oxygen in your blood, the carbon that forms the framework of your cells. None of these were forged on Earth. They were created in the fiery hearts of massive stars that lived and died in spectacular supernova explosions. Long before our sun was even a glimmer in the cosmos, that stardust was scattered across the galaxy, eventually coalescing to form our solar system, our planet, and us. The whale, with its immense, starlit bulk, and you resting quietly in your bed, are both made from the same cosmic debris. You are, quite literally, children of the stars, temporary assemblies of ancient atoms given consciousness for a fleeting, beautiful moment. This shared heritage extends to the very code of life. The DNA that guides the growth of a whale's massive flipper, that instructs the complex wiring of its brain for song and social bonding, is written in the same chemical language as your own. The 4 nucleotides that form the alphabet of your genes are universal. From the simplest bacterium to the largest creature that has ever lived, we all read from the same script, a testament to a common origin in the warm, shallow waters of a young Earth. The whale in the deep and the human on the shore are different verses, but from the same eternal poem. Knowing this, how can we feel separate? How can we feel alone? You are a unique and wonderful confluence of universal processes, a collection of stardust shaped by evolutionary time, animated by ancient seawater, and sustained by a shared atmosphere. The same forces of gravity, chemistry, and biology that shaped the whale's incredible journey have also shaped you. You belong here as deeply and intrinsically as the whale belongs to the ocean. You are not a visitor on this planet. You are a living, breathing part of its ongoing billion-year story. So, as you lie here now, let this knowledge settle over you like a soft, heavy blanket. Feel the weight of your own connection. You are not a solitary mind adrift in a cold universe. You are stardust and sea. You are the breath of the world. You are a close cousin to the giants of the deep, sharing a history written in genes, water, and atoms born from distant suns. Let this thought be your lullaby. There is no need to strive, no need to worry. You are exactly where you are meant to be, a conscious part of a magnificent living whole. The whales are singing in the dark water, the planets are spinning in their silent courses, and you are here, a bridge between the cosmic and the intimate, resting peacefully in the heart of it all. The journey is over for tonight. Let your breathing slow and sync with the imagined rhythm of the ocean's pulse. You are safe. You are home. You are stardust. You are sea. Close your eyes now. The world will be here when you awake. Good night.